Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Palace today. We have a very special guest on our podcast, and it is a special edition that we're doing. We're going to run a 10 episode series of here on our podcast of what we like to call on this time around doing time without bars. My co-host here you're going to see is my big little sister, as I call her. That is Miss TG, the voice for everyone that follows us on TikTok, another social media influencer, and just all around great person, full of great advice, and always has a up kindred spirit. So everyone, virtual applause. Welcome Miss TG to the stage. TG, happy New Year to you. Welcome to 2026. We're 12 days in. How is it treating you?
Happy 2026. 2026 is going to be different than 2025. I feel like all of us struggled through 2025. We all went through something, whether it was known or not known. But 2026 is a year for us to rebuild, to get things back on track.
Absolutely.
This is a new chapter for me, so I'm ready for 2026.
Hey, the ending of one closing and the brand new of another one opening, right? You get to write that story. Hey, speaking of, because we didn't hang out, so we have to do a cheers to 2026 and leaving everything in the past. And I want to thank you from literally the bottom of my heart for, there are a lot of times we've known each other. Man, it feels like it doesn't feel like this long. We've known each other for like 3.5 years now. It's crazy. But thank you for always being there to pick me up. I don't even have to say when I'm down sometimes. That's how we've kind of grown close as a family because you can just sense if I'm moving weird on TikTok or something, and you always drop something. And you don't even have to say, bro, I'm talking about you, but we kind of have that virtual we know. So thank you for being a great confidant and an awesome support system. So cheers to you in 2026.
Cheers.
Woo woo. I didn't take all of that, y'all, because I don't know how long our podcast is going to last. So we may have to take a couple of communion sips if we get emotional here. So, guys, so today the podcast, and I'm going to be doing some veering off, looking to the left and the right, but our segment again is called "Doing Time Without Bars," and the subsegment of that is how past survival trauma shapes who we love. Right? The idea that I got behind this is going to tell you the angle I'm coming from. Okay, even after a crime or someone being in jail, which doesn't evolve to either of us in this moment, or living a street life or just living through some trauma, which, as my sister just said, 2025 was full of all kinds of trauma, right? Whether it was trauma that had us stricken down or something that we learned how to navigate through and overcome. There was just trauma everywhere. But I want to talk about how that shapes who we love, and not always in the romantic sense, but your friends, your family. It can be a spouse or attempting to even date and find spouses. 25, I think, for this world taught us a lot. So, and another reason I wanted to pick this, as I wrote here, it quietly decides who we trust, who we will chase, and who and what we tolerate in relationships. And again, it's not just relationships for romance, platonic. Young people call them situationships these days. We call them acquaintances back in the day. You weren't a friend, you weren't really whatever. You were just a hey and bye, right? So
Boo
I want to.
thing. The boo
You
thing.
what? The Boo Thing. That's right. That was a song, wasn't it? Wasn't Boo Thing a song? And so let's dive into that. So I know for me personally, and I have a guest here, so I won't interview myself today, but we'll be able to do a little bit of back and forth with some natural dialogue. And I want this to feel as natural as possible, like a conversation. And I picked her to be my first guest because we've had a lot of natural, passionate conversations, right? From in my TikTok world, I was an agent, but this was like my backbone. Like she would come in and say, "Listen, bro, listen, Bo, this is what we got to do. This is how we got to do, and this is what I need you to do to step in." Or it can be, hey, bro, we thinking about this in the wrong way. Don't get down. And we would be that back and forth. And we were the ones who really challenged each other to think differently. And I think it's fair to say it was truly that big sister, little brother relationship because there were times where we both wanted to knock each other's heads off, but we understood the message, right? And the way I still remember from day one, guys, she said, Bo, I'm going to tell you, I only let people in once. So if you screw it up, you done. And I said, hey, well, that makes two of us because it's hard for me to let people penetrate my circle. It takes heart. And we both followed up with, now I ain't gonna be easy on you. When you need to hear the truth, I'm gonna tell you the truth when everybody else trying to sugarcoat. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. And we've always done that for each other. And that relationship piece, right? I personally dwell on that with Miss TG because I need that person who's not fearful to say, I don't want to say this to this person because I don't know how they will act. I don't know if they're going to go crazy. I don't know if they're going to be sad. I just need that person to say, hey, I'm going to be honest with you, and here it is. You ain't going to like it, but you need to hear it. So, TG, if you can, for whatever you're willing to open up at this time in the podcast. Based on this topic, doing time without bars, do you feel like that analogy, right? You being a prisoner trapped within yourself without the bars, right? Whether that's emotional, mental, physical. Do you feel like those life experiences and trauma have shaped how you love platonically, romantically, intellectually, and if you do feel that way, how have they shaped that opinion?
I think as we grow up, we all go through different things in life, especially with family. There, we have things that I would say, let me see, things that our family do that they carry on from generation to generation. Is it right? No, it's not right. A lot of that stuff is verbal abuse. It's mentally draining and it's hurtful, and it's going to depict how you interact with other people that are around you when you're in a relationship. If you have a verbally and physically a physical abusive man, that's going to dictate how you love somebody else in the future. I wouldn't say it's doing time without bars. I just think we put ourselves in a situation of trying to appease somebody else's feelings and don't know when to leave when we should leave. Because if I put it like I'm behind bars, then I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna freak all the way out because I'm afraid to go to jail. I don't want to be held somewhere captive that I don't want to be. So a lot of times we put ourselves in a situation knowing it's time for us to say goodbye, and we just sit there and we tough it out.
Yeah, I think that's right. Let me ask you. So you did touch on family, and sometimes family's tough, right? So my and the reason I say that, and my question to you is, do you believe just because someone shares a percentage of the same bloodline, that makes them family?
Family doesn't. I just talked about this with my sister who is not blood related to me. Blood makes us related. We share the same DNA. We have the same characteristic when it comes to our DNA. That makes us blood related. Family is composed of people that you meet along the way. Because 9 times out of 10, a stranger will treat you better than your family will. A stranger will come to your rescue before your family will. Because family looks at you and say, hey, oh, Bo has it going on. Bo did this and Bo did that. But when Bo's back is against the wall, where are they? When you need a shoulder to cry on, where are they? When you ask for help, where are they? They'll come to you and give you a sob story. Oh, I can't help you. I'm not able to. Or they'll talk about you behind your back. Oh, yeah, he was up. Now look at him. He down. But family is not supposed to do that. Family is supposed to pick you up no matter what you go through. Family is supposed to have your back no matter what it is. They're not supposed to talk about you. At no point in time should you feel like, okay, I got this going on. I can't go to my family and talk to my family about what I have going on because I know they're going to judge me. That's a lot of what's wrong with people. They don't open up to family because they feel like you're just gonna put me down. So what they'll do is they'll make their game plan to get things in order for them, and then they'll circle back around and say, "Hey, you know, I just want to." Well, why you didn't tell me? Because when I came to you the first time, you shut that door in my face, and you're supposed to be my family. and that hurts. It's so many people that are suffering through stuff like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They are. I think that's a piece of, so when family hurts you and you don't want to go back, right? And I know for you, we don't want to do that time without bars, right? But I think that could be a great example to that analogy is even though you say you support me and I can always come to you, something has happened in our relationship that makes that person feel as if I do this, all I'm going to get is judgment. So, what makes, not what makes people feel that way, because we'll never really know, because it's a two-sided question twofold. But I will say is, or will ask, is what do you think stops that bond from being repaired and allows that trauma to continue to be the divide, the doing time, if you will?
It depends on the person and how they carry themselves. A lot of people do have a forgiving spirit. Some people don't have a forgiving spirit. Some people will look at the situation and say, you know what, you did me like that. This is just what it's gonna be. I'll see you when I see you. Other people will, it's an eye opener for them. You showed me who you truly are. So now I know how far to go with you. Now I know how I'm going to treat you. By all means, don't stray away from your family because that's not the right thing to do. And in today's time in society, we don't know how long family is here for us. They could be here today and gone tomorrow, but if you're upset with a family member or if you have some hostility with a family member, make it right sooner than later. Just learn how to treat them differently. They don't have to be in your life. You can love your family from a distance. And I learned that from a cousin. I mean, it's plenty of people in my family now that I have to love from a distance because number one, you're not going to stop me from being who God called me to be. And I'm not going to stop being me. I can't go the extra mile for you like I used to because you showed me who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the phrase, right? When people show you who they are, you believe them. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. Tell me about a time, and you don't have to get too specific if you're not comfortable, but if you have a time that you can be specific on, what's a time that you went through that it took you a while to find forgiveness, and not necessarily forgiveness for someone else. I'll more say forgiveness for yourself because I'm a believer in I can forgive you all day long, right? I beat myself up over not seeing the signs of someone manipulating me, and then that's what holds me back. I think that's what builds grudges and whatnot. So tell me about a time to where it was tough for you to find self forgiveness to say, hey, it's okay, self, you can move forward now, right? And whatever that is, it can be a bad boss, relationship, what, friendship, whatever. Tell me about a time to where you went through that and there was a real struggle to find that, and kind of talk to the people that are watching to let them know what you did and how you eventually overcame that struggle.
I mean, I'm built different. I'm not built like everybody else. I don't hold grudges. I don't stay mad long. I've been like this since childhood. And I guess that's because of how my grandma raised me. She said always forgive. I've learned that throughout life. I can sit up there and stay mad at you, but what good is that gonna do? I'm letting you live rent free in my head. You mad? I'm mad at you over something minute, something simple. So I'm not the type that's gonna sit up there and hold a grudge. I'm not gonna try to get even. None of that. Actually, I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna smile and I'm gonna walk off and I'm gonna have your mind wondering like, is she for real? Yes, I'm for real. I forgive you in that moment, in that time, because I don't have time for it. And if it's something so severe, I'm cutting you off. I'm just gonna cut you off. I don't think I've never had a time where I've just been super mad and I've been betrayed. Growing up, I had a boyfriend and I had a childhood friend that came and, she stayed with us. I did her hair, I did her mom's hair, her sister's hair. We were very close. And she actually slept with my boyfriend. And she thought that I was going to be mad at her. No, I just checked her. I told her, don't try me again. Because if you try me again, I'm not going to be held responsible for what I might do to you. But I told her, I said, I forgive you. You need that forgiveness more than I do. It ain't your fault. At the end of the day, I'm not going to say all men are alike, but somebody had to initiate it. It could have been her. It could have been him. I wasn't there. Now, what she did, was it wrong? Yes, it was wrong. I mean, that changed our friendship. You lost a friendship over something stupid. Now it's different. Now you wishing like, oh my God, I never meant to do that to you, but you did. You crossed that line. And I'm not gonna tell you that we can go back to how things were because we can never go back that way. But I do forgive you because you need that more than I do. But like I said, I'm a little bit different.
For sure, for sure. And let me ask on that, right? So some people think just because they apologize, they get a clean slate. And I think you just hit the nail on the head. It's like, hey, it will never be the way it was 30 minutes ago before you did what you did, right? And so um, we can try to move forward from there, but don't think people forget, guys, right? It's that analogy that I can balled up a piece of fresh notebook paper and I can unwad it. And people are like, well, you can still write on it and write a full story on it. You can, but the paper you write that story on would never be the same, right? It's not that fresh sheet of paper that goes into a pocket protector. It's now a a story that's learned how to heal before it could tell the true scenes behind that story. I know one for you, and you don't have to choose to talk about it because I'm not going to mention it. But tell us about how you overcome trauma and one of the bigger traumas that you've had to overcome that may have taken you a little longer than any other trauma that you've had, and how to this day do you still cope with overcoming or living with that trauma if you're not able to overcome
Well, I mean, when you're hurt, it's hard to heal. The first thing you have to do is acknowledge the hurt. Tell you got to start. It starts with you. It can't start with somebody else. It got to start with you. Acknowledge your hurt. Don't sit there and blame you like you were the problem or you were the issue because you're never the problem. You're never the issue. At the end of the day, you have to look at it like this. If somebody chooses to hurt you, they wasn't meant for you. That's your sign to jump ship, to move on, and keep going. Some hurt and pain you go through, you can't escape right away. Verbal abuse, physical abuse when you're growing up with family and different things like that. That's stuff that people are not able to escape until they get to a certain age. When you get to a certain age, then you can leave. Get yourself the help. Find you somebody to talk to. I don't recommend self healing unless God calls you to self heal yourself. Because self healing, it can lead you to a state of depression. A lot of people be walking around here as high functioning depressionists because they've gone through so much they don't know how to deal with it. Talk to somebody, your local pastor. Find you a friend that is going to be there for you that's not going to judge you. Always know that you're not the only person that is going through something in life. Everybody goes through different things. Even when you're in relationships. When you're in a relationship with somebody, if you notice that person's actions start to shift, pay attention. But don't blame yourself for their actions shifting. It wasn't you. That's your sign to say, okay, God, this person is not for me. And I'm not going to sit up here and blame me because they're not for me because I know what? You got somebody special for me. And I'm not going to beat myself up because I fell for somebody that I thought loved me, that appreciated me just as much as they did. But they didn't. Let them people go. You don't deserve that. You never deserve that. This goes with friends. You know, growing up, my best friend, her dad told her she could no longer be my friend anymore. And that hurt me as a teenager. We've been friends ever since we've been in kindergarten all the way up until junior high. And you made a choice to do something that your dad blamed me for that I had nothing to do with because I told you not to do it. But you did it anyway. Her dad said, guess what? You can't be friends with her no more. That hurt. But at the end of the day, she wasn't supposed to be a long time friend. She wasn't supposed to follow me into adulthood in high school with me as my best friend. And sometimes you just have to learn how to let go. Not everybody that comes across your path, not everybody that's in your life is meant to be there. And it's okay. It's okay to shed dead weight and keep moving. Because guess what? God will always place people in your life that are there to prosper you, to grow you, to motivate you, to help you get to the next step. So don't put yourself in a position where you feel like you're in prison with no bars, that you're holding on to something that you don't supposed to hold on to. No, we don't do that. It's 2026. We don't do that. No BS in 2026. We're not holding on to people that don't mean us no good. And I mean, I don't care. Either you're going to clap for me or you're not. Either you're going to be here or you're not. Hey, I can do it by myself. But you know what? I won't have to because God surrounds me with people that are going to help me through it. So don't be afraid to lose people. And don't sit there and be upset, mad, and sad. No, we don't do that. We get out the house for 2026.
Hey, I'm with you on that. And look, I'll take one more to that. We're not doing that in 2026. So, new year, new leaf, right, guys? New year, new leaf. There's a lot of us. I'm not going to mention his name, but I have an agent on TikTok. And we haven't talked in a while, but he was a fantastic guy. But he struggles this time of year. And I believe it's been 2 years since he lost his mom at this point, maybe three. And the holidays I know for him are very, very tough. And he kind of, and you can tell in his content creation that it's like an ebb and flow. When he comes out of that depression scale, he's good, but you can always tell around Mother's Day, he's very quiet for a couple of weeks and he comes back. Summertime, he's good because the kiddos are out. He spent a lot of time with kiddos, but Thanksgiving, Christmas, those are very tough times for him. So, TG, what do you say for the people who they're like, ma'am, it's easy for you to say that. You ain't been through what I've been through, and I'm trying, but I'm still struggling. So, yeah, it's 2026, but I'm going to stay underneath these covers until spring comes out and see if I feel better. What do you say to the people that's still struggling and holding on to that?
I lost my mom, so I can sympathize. My mom was my everything. Grief is never going to have an expiration date. Nobody can tell you how to grieve. When you lose somebody important to you, your mom, your sister, your brother. My sister lost her son last year, and I sit there and I see how she's coping with it. It's hard. There's nothing nobody can say to you to console your heart or make you feel better. The one thing that they should be doing for you is holding your hand, praying for you, giving you a hug. Because there's no words. If you have not been through it, how can you console that person? What can you tell them? They tell us, hey, be strong in a sense. And it's not telling you to be strong because you've lost somebody. It's telling you that keep pushing, keep going. Because a lot of people give up. You know, my great aunt and my great uncle had been married over like 69 years. They moved to Florida. A month later, my aunt went into the hospital. After that, she left. She transitioned on. Exactly 1 month to the date, my uncle transitioned on behind her. The love was so deep and so connected that he couldn't live without her. This just, like death is something that it's unexpected. It comes like a thief in the night, and you cannot prepare yourself for it. I don't care who it is. You can never prepare yourself for death. Each death is gonna hit you different. It's gonna hit you differently. Just be a friend, be a brother, be a sister. Call those people, check on them, encourage them to speak with their pastor, encourage them to speak with a psychologist or a psychiatrist, encourage them to get help, send them motivational stuff that you feel like will inspire them to help them get out of it. Because when I lost my mom, I went through depression for 18 months. Nobody ever knew. I lost my memory for those 18 months. Like, I don't remember everything that I experienced in those 18 months. There was one person that knocked on my door every day. Get up. What you doing? Put on some clothes. Let's go. How you feeling today? Hey, let's go get something to eat. That person stood by my side because they said, I don't want you to fall into a deep depression where you can't get out of it. I know how you feeling because my mama was my everything. So how he feels is his mama probably was his everything. They had a relationship that is beyond what the outside person can see. And you can never prepare anybody for that. Just say, hey man, keep your head up. If you want to talk about it, I'm here for you. Hey sis, keep your head up. If you want to talk about it, I'm here for you. Because a lot of times during the holidays, we sit there, we see everybody around the table, we miss our parents. A lot of times when it's their birthday, you sit there and be like, dog, it's such and such birthday today. You can't call them, or like Mother's Day. Mother's Day is hard because you see everybody else with their mama, they getting their mama gifts and different things like that. It's hard. but you don't let it stop you. For me, when it's a birthday, a holiday, even Christmas, I'll go to the graveyard, I'll sit out there and I'll talk to my mom. I've always put some kind of solar power light on there for her birthday and for Mother's Day, just because that's my mom, you know? So you have to figure out what you can do to cope with it. But don't let people tell you that you should be over it by now. No.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst things you can say. I was having a conversation with somebody and I said, man, I wish heaven had a phone because I need to talk to my mama right now. Comment I got is, listen, you go to heaven, you ain't gonna talk to her. You should never tell somebody that. That's hurtful. If I didn't have God on my side pushing me to be who He called me to be, that would have thrown me into another state of depression and I wouldn't have been able to get up. I probably would have tried to get up there where my mama was. Because you have to be careful what you say to people when they're at a vulnerable state, when they're going through things concerning grief, because it's rough. You know, for me, it's been 8 years, and my mom died 12/15/17. We buried her 12/23. So I hate Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, that was your early Christmas gift right there. That's what you spent the Christmas season doing was that.
I was so numb, like when all of that happened, like they looked at me and they was like, "Is your little sister okay? Is she gonna say something? Like is she gonna cry? Like what's wrong with her?"
Like she ain't doing nothing. Like let
I
her be.
mean, I spoke to the people. I cried when they released the body to the public for everybody to see her. I cried then because, I'm like, this really my mom. And then I cried the day of the funeral because I was like, how you check that on me? Like, how you do this? But then,
Why you left me?
yeah, healing always begin when you put your mom or your loved one in the ground. That's when healing starts to begin. But it's a day by day thing, and it does not have an expiration. Hold your head up high, and if you're gonna be a friend in the right way, and be positive. Hey man, let me pray for you right quick. I know you about to be going through it. Let me pray for you. Let me speak over you right quick.
Oh,
And
yeah.
just go,
Lay hands and bless up, right?
that's right.
And I think you have a point, right? There's some people who are just so full of themselves. I would love to say that it surprised me when you said someone made that awful comment of something to the effect of you just need to get over it, or if you're going to call mom, then it's like really was that necessary? We've passed our point in life of telling people to think before you speak. We don't even tell kids to think before you speak anymore because they just come out knowing they need to think before they speak. And 9 times out of 10, they speaking on their tablet before they speaking to us. She's right, y'all. Take the time. You don't know what people are going through, right? She talked earlier about the master depressionist. Like that was me for a very long time. You would have no idea unless you knew me, man. Like I leave the house and I have the biggest customer service face on, man. We're smiling, laughing, cackling, having a good time. I was the life of the party. We're going out. Never wanted to get wasted, get drunk, anything like that, but we're going to eat food. We're at fancy restaurants. I still go to fancy restaurants, but you're just out there and you're making sure everyone's having a great time, and people never even know that. Dang man, this guy is a high functioning like guy. And I think for guys, it's even 10 times worse, right? So, guys, I'll speak to you if you're watching. Like, figure out how to manage your feelings. And it's okay to be sad sometimes, right?
That's hard for you guys. It's hard for a male to show emotions or for a man to say, look, I'm not what I need to be. That's very hard for you guys. And that's because you're protectors, you're providers, and you have a high sense of pride. So as far as you coming out saying, man, something wrong, you're not gonna do it. That woman gotta really know you. She gotta really know you. You gotta be really she gotta be a person that has never betrayed your trust since day one. Even when you open up with something with her so simple that she'll come to her and say, baby, like, I'm going through it. But if she betray that trust at any point in time in their relationship, you're not gonna tell her about it. And if she don't know you, she's not gonna.
Never will. right? And I tell people, we've had this debate on other forums. A woman can love a million times over, and she can truly, truly love. A guy, a man, he gives his heart away once. I don't care how many more relationships, marriages, or whatever it is that comes, that man will give his heart away once. And once he's given it away, and it's been trashed, been broken, been shattered, and super glued and gorilla glued back together, that's it, right? That he may have love for you, but because of the previous stuff, he will never be in love with you, right? I can have love for you and take a bullet for you, right? Think about it, right? Served in the service, Secret Service, you can have love for your job and take a bullet for somebody. But, however, you don't have to be in love with them. So, all of that to say, we are conditioned to be protectors, right? And it starts with, hey, you don't want to be weak. You don't want to be crying. That's for girls. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. And agreed, you don't want to run around and always be whining and never solve your problems. But we also need to figure out how to address our problems, because you punching a wall or just blowing up in whatever way you can is not healthy. And in our community, more so in the past than here recently, mental health was looked down upon. Now you get into a lot of crime stuff, and the first thing people want to talk about is mental health. But for the longest time, mental health was the devil. It was deja vu. It was everything except for, no, that person needs to actually get some help. And guys, getting help doesn't mean that you go to the loony bin. But if you need to go, by all means, the loony bin. Look, I'll tell you, I've been to the loony bin, right? And all it is a hospital room, and you get to watch TV and eat food all day and chill and kick back. But the nice part is there's no cell phones, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no laptops, so you really get to disconnect and focus on you. Now, are you going to see some crazy, crazy, crazy people? You're seeing some people that needed help for so long that didn't get it, so they're in there and getting balanced out on the medications they should be. So they're more severe than what you may be. But however, it's okay to unplug. It's so hard for us to unplug these days. Like, I'm sure my phone over there has blown up a million times because it's on Do Not Disturb. And I built a habit. What was it? October-ish, sometime in October, I built a habit. My phone automatically goes on D&D at 8 o'clock at night. And it comes off of D&D at 7 o'clock in the morning. And the only thing, D&D, Do Not Disturb, the only thing that's allowed to break that rhythm is my alarm clock to wake up. And my selfish reason why is this. TG, if you called me and said, hey, we got an emergency, so and so done passed away, I need you to come up here and get to the hospital. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. What you want me to do? If they gone, I can't do nothing about it.
That's
So you gonna
insane.
wake me up out my sleep? You can't wait till 7 o'clock in the morning and tell me?
It depends on who it is. That's gonna depend on who it is.
I would agree. But now think, because my mindset is you woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning to tell me that somebody passed away, even if they're like on the top of my list, and I would want to know, ain't no way in the world I'm going to be able to get on the road at 3 o'clock in the morning because I could be tired. It could have been a long day from work. I could have to put the baby in the car. And now I really can't go back to sleep either because that's going to have me up. And I'm sitting here staring at my phone. We talked about that grief and anxiety and anticipation. So, me personally, I've built a boundary fort that's my positive time. I suffer from a lot of nightmares. I wake up in night sweats a lot. And since I've started to do that, along with the aid of 15 different medications, my sleep has gotten better. My day starts with a positive. My positive is, y'all hear a lot of us old folks, her, did I point the right way? Her.
No.
Where you at? You over there, over there? So, y'all hear a lot of us say, when we wake up, Lord, I just thank you that I woke up. Well, that's my truly part of the day, because that's my best part of the day before I do anything. Some of us mad the alarm clock went off. Hey, I'm just thankful I was able to hit snooze, right? And so that's kind of how I take that peaceful time, because it's the only time you truly get for just you. And a lot of us love our sleep, especially post COVID. Ooh, I'm so sick of y'all public people. I don't know what to do. So I love my sleep, and I cherish it more than anything. And if D&D comes on at 8 p.m. and goes off at 7, that's 11 hours of potential uninterrupted rest and detox. No text messages show on my phone. I'll see the icon up top, but there is nothing that pops up on my phone. I could be scrolling TikTok, and a lot of times I've scrolled TikTok and come sat in her live or someone else's live and chilled in the box for a little bit, and I've gotten right back off. So I know I got off topic with that, but we just got to make sure you build time of peace for yourself and learn how to address your emotions. And avoidance cannot be all of your emotions. If you're living in avoidance, you're putting yourself behind bars. And as my sister said, this is 2026. No chains, no bars. And if I know her good enough, she'd tell you no weapon formed against you shall prosper. So you got to dig deep and carry on. Am I right?
I mean, you control your own situation. You control how you heal through anything you face in life. One of the most important things that you do have to take away from past hurt, past trauma, past mistreatment, past abuse is you gotta learn how to heal. Healing starts with you first. Once you heal you, forgive the other person. I don't care what it is that they've done to you. Forgive them. Forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is for you. It helps you reach a new height and a new level. Then you begin to continue to work on you. You can get yourself to a place of being. You have to let go. Let it go is sometimes one of the hardest things that you can do. But look at it like this. The longer you hold on to a hurt, a pain, a trauma, the longer you're going to be stuck where you are. Release it. Release it back into the atmosphere so you can carry on with your life. Stop letting people live rent free in your head.
DJs love that.
I cannot. I cannot.
Hey,
Why are you letting this person live rent free in your head?
look, because I can laugh about it now. I can laugh about it, and I know between all of us, there's always an inside joke to where I can crack that name and go, gotcha. And I love it, man. I love it. There's plenty of other names that I could drop too, but they're not as funny as that one. But she's right, y'all. I made a post on my Snapchat the other day because I had made so many people jealous and haters that I'm just like, it's awesome to know that I get to live rent free in your head every single day. I'm living rent free. I ain't thought about you. I ain't tried to attack you. I ain't tried to report you for nothing. I hadn't gone to your superiors for nothing. But somehow, someway, I live rent free in your head. And I love it, right? So,
Oh, wait, pause. Why do you love to live rent free in other people?
because that means I'm doing something right. That means I'm doing something right. And that
Are
also
you sure
means,
about that? Or are these people feeling slighted?
say again, are they feeling what?
Slighted.
They could, but the way I look at it is when I'm living rent free in your head, Satan is busy within you, and him up there, the good man above, the good Lord, he ain't letting none of that shenanigans get around me. Because if I haven't thought about you, but I'm such rent free in your head that you trying to find something out of nothing or instigate something that wasn't even a case or make up some stuff or go to some HR crazy cases. I love it because it's like you've gone so far beneath yourself and let Satan, and even if you're not religious, you let some demonic figure, spiritual figure, get within you and host within you that I am your enemy. Meanwhile, your enemy ain't done nothing to you. The good in us at sometimes say, hey, let's try to see if we can reconcile and resolve. But I've learned in those attempts to reconcile and resolve, it actually escalates, right? We take those pieces of conversations or gestures or olive branches, the leaves from the olive branch, the olive from the leaves on the olive branch, whatever. We take those pieces and we try to tarnish whatever it is to take life from it, right? Not necessarily physically, but we all know if a leaf detaches from a tree, that leaf dries out and dies, right? And in my mind, that's the goal of people sometimes, right? You ever went to someone and you said the words, and I learned to make these statements differently, by the way. But you ever went to someone and you was like, hey, I understand you feel X, Y, and Z. And while it's unfortunate and I'm sorry that you feel that way, these are how things are being misinterpreted. The only thing that person heard was the I'm sorry. And you're like, I didn't apologize to you. Apologize for what? right? But in their mind, they go, oh, they apologized to me and they knew they were wrong because they said, I'm sorry. But you missed this whole part, right? And so that's why I say people don't really want the truth. They're looking for the bits and pieces to come attack you later on. So if you go approach to reconcile and resolve, you've done more damage than good. And the way, if you do approach that, I always tell people now, I would never say, I'm sorry you feel that way again. I wouldn't say, it concerns me that you feel that way. I wouldn't say any of that. The only thing I would stick to is, it's unfortunate that you feel that way. My recommendation is splat and offer no explanation or anything. Because if you do,
Nothing has been resolved. And unfortunate is a trigger word. It's a trigger word that means that there's a huge disconnect or some animosity between the two parties there. You can
mhm,
start a the conversation of, hey, let's address the elephant in the room. There seems to be a disconnect. Want to talk about it? There's no apology. There's sign of guilt. They're saying, hey, we need to talk about this, and it needs to be squashed. So
but
wordplay when you speaking
but
with somebody.
some people would take that as being attacked. They would say, "Ah, well, he just came up on me talking about there's an elephant in the room and I don't have no problem with you, so why you up here on me?" So now they try to make it like you're the.
If it's gonna be like that, then you need to have a mediator.
Or for me, it's just like, I ain't got nothing to say at all. What I'm coming to you for? Because in order for me to come to you, I have to care. And for you, I would come to you because I care for you, the love I have for you, right? My in love for you. I would come to you and say, hey, sis, what's up? We've done that to each other, right? You've picked up the phone and say, hey, what's up? I don't appreciate how you just came for me. I need an explanation. And I'm like, what you talking about? You crazy. And you're like, Bo, don't play that bullshit with me. So, like, I feel that, but I feel there has to be a neutral connection for the relationship to want it to be fixed. And that's the time to where we come to reconciliations, we come to the resolve, right? Because in your workplace, even though everybody trying to be your friend, y'all all competing for the most part for the same promotions. So if you get one and they didn't, they ain't gonna ever tell you. And if they do tell you, I felt like that was mine, not yours, blah 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 blah. The only thing I can tell you is everything's in God's timing. Clearly, you weren't in the cards in God's timing. Now
And I
that
would
don't
say,
mean that you won't surpass me and be my boss one day. This could be
but
my last stepping stone.
that's a comment that is so vague and so direct and so to the point. In the workplace, you have to be very cautious of how you interact and treat people. The workplace is not a place where you go to make friends per se. You have to
Exactly.
read the people that you're working with. Not everybody is going to be your friend. Not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody is going to want to talk to you, and that's okay. But you have to work with a level of professionalism. Always be courteous, always stay out of the way. Keep your name out of stuff that's going on. Don't try to fit in.
Will
Just be,
Smith, keep my name out your mouth.
not everybody's gonna like who you are, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, you're doing your job. You're doing what you're supposed to do to be the best person that you can be at work.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to just say be rude to people. I worked in an environment where I was highly bullied because of who I was. I had worked at this place for several years. Everybody knew me. So when they came through the door, they were looking for TG. Hey, TG, is TG here? And people around me got upset. They got mad. Why every time somebody come here, they want to speak to you? First of all, look at my personality. Look at how I greet them. Look at how I treat them. And, that's jealousy and animosity that I didn't ask for. I'm not here to be your friend. So when it came to hanging out outside of work, oh, I'm good. Thank you for inviting me, though. I'm good. I'm not going.
That's
I'm,
right.
I'm coming here to do my 8 hours and I'm going home. Am I going to sit up here and talk about you while we're in the office? No, I'm not going to do that. I don't do that. That's not who I am. That's not my character. But you talk about me. Being bullied in the workplace is horrible. It's real horrible. And if you've never been through it before, you're gonna need psychological help.
Yeah.
But then you got you. I'm a spiritual person, so I pray for people like that. Thank you for praying on my downfall. I pray that you get everything that you want and you need in life. because the ditch that you digging for me, you better make sure you dig it deep enough for you because your time is gonna come. Now, people are always gonna put you down, especially in the workplace. So it's rare that you find somebody that you can connect with that is there for you. But they're only threatened because they may think you're a little smarter than they are. They may think that you got a little bit more education than they are. Like you're doing the job a little bit better than they are because they're slacker. And they're scared that they're gonna get caught for the things that they're doing. So I don't worry about people like that. My work gonna speak for itself. I'm gonna keep on
Always.
smiling and keep on trucking.
Always, man. And she's right, right? We talk a lot about systematic things, right? So she's right. Bullying is awful in the workplace, guys. It is awful. And the worst part is if you're 7 times out of 10, the people who are doing the bullying, they're not smart enough. But for the 3 out of 10 that are, they learn how to do the bullying systematically to where you know they screwing with you, but they've kind of covered themselves behind some policies to where they can hide and play in the dark. So you do have to be careful. And just stay true to who you are, right? It's like she said, you let your work speak for yourself, for itself. Mine always has, always will. People look at my success, they look at my accomplishments, and they're like, damn. But let me tell you, I'm not done being successful yet. In fact, if you ask me, I haven't reached the point to where I call myself successful. Have I tapped into a few goals and I've crossed them off the list because I've accomplished them? Yes. But am I successful as I sit right here, right now? My answer to that is no. And I'm going to transition into that because this comes from breaking out of those bars, right? My mentality is that if I'm successful today, right here, right now, there's nothing left for you to chase after that. And in order for you to keep being successful, you have to continue to develop goals and achieve progress for yourself. And so for me, because my list of goals are so long, I will never reach, it will take me a while to reach that level of where I can say I have achieved the ultimate success and I can now say I'm successful. Because let me tell you, a lot of people say, well, I'll know I'm successful for when I become rich. Some people can live off $40,000 a year and take cruises. They can go to London. They can go to Tokyo. They can do all of this stuff, right? $40,000 a year isn't a lot, but you can make it work for you if you want. So that person in their mind could be rich. You could be looking at that going, that's not where I want to be. So I don't put a financial dollar on my success. I put where my dreams and accomplishments are, right? Not necessarily just bucket list items. In fact, there's one bucket list item, and that's way down there because I don't consider it a true accomplishment, right? And that's to see the northern lights, y'all. I want to go see the northern lights and see them flash throughout the sky and all the different colors up there. But being able to continue to provide for myself, right? For myself. I achieve a goal when I'm able to put a shirt on, right? I achieve a goal when I'm able to brush my teeth, right? And those will happen every single day. God forbid there be a day that I wake up that I can't do that because you never know. Like TG said, life can change just like that. You just never know. But even then, my goal would be fight through enough strength to sit up or to open my mouth for whomever is sitting there saying that they're going to brush my teeth and help me put on a shirt. So my goals are never ending, right? That's just how they are. That's why I always tell people. They're like, "Well, what's your 5-year plan?" My 5-year plan is to be 5 levels above your job grade. That's my 5-year plan. Is it going to happen in 5 years? Most likely not. You're the newest employee in the building. But guess what? Not only do I want to be your boss, I want to be your boss's boss's boss in 5 years, right? Because that tells you the level that I'm going to come in and I'm going to have intensity and I'm going to move faster than anybody else on purpose. Now that you know how I define, guys, think about how do you define your definition of success? And if you're in our age group and you've already peaked and achieved success, you have nothing else to do for the rest of your time here on Earth. So, TG, tell us, what does success look like to you and have you achieved it?
I think success is something that you're gonna continuously chase throughout your life. There are gonna be things that you set for yourself that you're gonna achieve. You know, it's great that you do achieve those things. A lot of things that I wanted to do in life, I've already done. So it's just making a new list and everything off that list and continue to grow. Knowledge is power. So each day you wake up and you can learn something new, or you can do something new, or you can walk in your dream. That's chasing success.
For sure. For sure, right? And she's right, guys. Knowledge is power. It's not by coincidence that you have two highly intellectual black entrepreneurs, and I say we're entrepreneurs because we're socialpreneurs. We both ran the TikTok gamut and we're highly successful at that. But you have two black entrepreneurs from different walks of life, and we're telling you that success is how you define it. She has a different definition than Bo, but it's okay. She's achieving where she wants to go. She ain't done yet. But the most important thing she told you is that knowledge is power. When I was growing up, and even though that was in Memphis, Tennessee, I guarantee you she can tell you from where she was down in Tupelo, Mississippi, that our culture knew knowledge was power. And that's the one thing somebody couldn't take from you. So the more knowledge you put within yourself, the smarter you're going to be, right? It doesn't make you the know-it-all in the room, but you educate yourself. You want to learn the stock market and we want to talk about, man, only the rich people do stocks. Well, guess what? We just gave an example of how somebody makes $40,000 a year can consider themselves rich, right? So, how do you push yourself every single day? Find something that interests you and read it. Read it, read it, read it. If you take what Bo tells you as fact without any research, there's a problem. If you take what Miss TG tells you as fact without you doing any research, there is a problem. We are not going to lie to you. I am not a person that I want you to take every single thing I say as fact and you never do anything on your own to become more knowledgeable. Because what I just did was I made you a crutch. In order for you to get smarter, you have to come ask me something now. Versus you learning to look it up on your own. One thing we tell all the younger kids these days when we're doing TikTok, go YouTube it, go research it. You guys love streaming in YouTube. Go look it up. If you YouTube it and look it up, you'll figure it out. I want to do a quick commercial break just to throw in here. TG, y'all, is a life coach. I'm going to let her introduce herself, certified life coach over here. So I'm going to let her introduce herself, tell you how you can obtain her services and what she can provide for you.
My name is TG, TG the voice. I'm the person that motivates you to get back up when life knocks you down. You can find me on TikTok at Cool Glaze. You can find me on Instagram at TG the voice. And you can find me on YouTube at TG the voice. Send me a message, and I'm here to help. I feel like everybody needs somebody to talk to. So if you need an ear, need someone to listen, just need some help getting started with your day to day, I'm here.
We are back. So let me ask you, who's V? It says Ask Via.
Teaching the voice is derived to pay homage to my parents. My dad passed before I was born, so I never got to know my dad. My mom passed when I was my mom passed in 2017. We ain't gonna say no age, but she passed in 2017. My mom's last name is Taylor. My father's last name is Glaze. But I go by TG the Voice because all the glory and everything that I do in life is because of those two. If they didn't make me, I wouldn't be here.
That is true, y'all. And she'll tell you, she's like, I got this. I'm a glaze. What you talking about? I'm a glaze. My daddy said you a glaze. We don't go out like that. Let y'all know, don't play with her. She gonna come for you. She gonna come for you. TG, let's give the people closing statements. But I'm not closing. I think there's gonna be one thing we do in this show. I'm not gonna close any statements. All of my hosts will do closing statements. And our bigger big sister, I can guarantee you, she gonna be like, I ain't doing a closing statement, but you gonna do a closing statement. So I will
You
prepare
gonna
my
lay off
closing
her
statement.
sister when she ain't here to
Am I
rebuke
wrong?
me.
Look, that's how I know when TG defending us, because TG be like, look, I ain't
We're
saying
not
you
gonna do
right and
that.
I ain't saying you wrong, but you ain't gonna talk about them while they ain't here.
She'll do a closing statement.
She,
Don't do that. We don't. We do not compete. He
we're
playing with y'all.
friendly. Friendly family competition. We are teasing y'all though. Look, that's just how. Look, we naturally. I'll say this, and I'll let her close us out. For the three of us, we are don't come from now one of us. I'm like a sneak attack because I'll sit there and hee and ha ha and laugh, and then all of a sudden I'll check you. TG, she cut it off up front. Big sister Nay kind of be in the middle. She more likely to cut it off up front and cuss you out, but depending on who you are, she may try to let you get an inch and see if you take that mile. Me, I'm just gonna set you up and come back and bite your head off. But y'all would think we all live down the road from each other, and we don't. This is a fostered relationship that was built virtually. And if you asked any of the three of us, I'm gonna round it up from 3.5 to 4 because math is easier. If you asked any, actually, it was 4 years because we weren't going live, but we were talking in chats. But if you ask any of the three of us 4 years ago if we thought we would have turned into this, we tell you, you damn crazy. I'm like, tick who? I remember when they told me download TikTok. I said, tick who? What did it do? I just sit there and swipe. But I don't even like swiping on Instagram. I'm good. And I was like, no, you got to download TikTok. I'm like, yeah. But if I didn't, I wouldn't have these two awesome, awesome relationships that I've built. And don't get me wrong, I've built some other great connections too. But I know if I pick up her phone and call her, hey, Bo, what's up? She gonna answer, right? She gonna answer just like my real family would. And that's why she said earlier, you can be blood related, but family is where you build and where you walk with. So, TG, take us home, baby.
If you find yourself in a situation where life has knocked you down, if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like the things that you're going through are hurting you, don't stay there. Don't put yourself behind bars that where the bars are imaginary. Remove yourself. Let go of all these people that are trying to hurt you and bring you down. Stand 10 toes up for yourself. Adjust your crown. Know that anything that you want to accomplish in life, you can do it. You're talking to somebody that everything that I dreamed that I wanted to do, I've almost did it. I have to make a new list now because there's new things I want to try and go from there. So whatever you set your mind to, it starts with you. Heal yourself first. Don't hold any grudges. Keep pushing. Keep going. Love those that don't love you, but love them from a distance, and you're gonna be okay.
I love it. I love it, guys. Well, that is all we got for y'all today. Thank you for sticking through it. This was our episode 1 with Bo and TG, the sibling pair, doing time without bars, guys. So, tidbit that we'll leave you with: if you're doing time without bars, you're the one that holds the key to the cell, and that's it. We're logging out. See you later. TG!